Clarity begins where emotion ends. The human mind is a battlefield of passions, fear, desire, anger, pride, all fighting for dominance over reason. These forces are ancient and powerful. They once kept us alive when survival meant reacting faster than thinking. But in the world of decisions, leadership and power, emotion is a fog that blinds the eyes of judgment. To think clearly, one must first conquer this fog. Most people believe they are rational simply because they can explain their feelings. They mistake justification for clarity. But explanation is not reason. It is often the disguise of emotion wearing the mask of logic. A person who justifies every choice through feeling does not think. They react. And reaction, though quick, is often costly. Clarity demands a pause, a breath, a moment between impulse and action. In that space, truth begins to reveal itself. To detach emotion from judgment does not mean to suppress emotion. Suppression creates tension and eventually rebellion within the mind. Instead, it means to observe emotion as one might observe a storm from the safety of a high tower. You see its power, its chaos, but you do not step into it. You acknowledge that it exists, yet you refuse to let it dictate your path. Emotion can inform, but it must never command. When anger governs thought, the world narrows. Every decision becomes a weapon aimed at revenge or domination. When fear governs thought, the world shrinks further. Every opportunity looks like a trap. And when desire governs thought, the world becomes a mirage. What glitters appears real, and what is valuable seems dull. To rise above these illusions, you must first understand their mechanics. Anger blinds you to proportion. Fear blinds you to possibility. Desire blinds you to consequence. The wise recognize each emotion's tendency to distort perception and strip away its authority before judgment is made. Those who rule their minds rule their worlds. To lead, to decide, to influence, you must see situations as they truly are, not as they feel, not as you wish, but as they are. Emotion is an artist. It paints reality in colors that please you. Reason is an architect. It sketches reality in structure and line. If you wish to build something lasting, an idea, a plan, a destiny, you must follow the architect, not the artist. Clarity is not coldness. It is not the absence of feeling, but the discipline to prevent feeling from clouding thought. A clear thinker may feel anger, but he does not let it choose his words. He may feel fear, but he does not let it choose his retreat. He may feel ambition, but he does not let it dictate his alliances. Emotion becomes a signal, not a command, a signpost, not a steering wheel. The moment of decision must belong to reason alone. Imagine two generals on a battlefield. One burns with anger after a loss, the other remains calm, assessing terrain and timing. The angry general attacks recklessly to soothe his pride. The calm one waits, observes, and strikes when his enemy's fury exhausts itself. The difference between victory and ruin is not courage, it is clarity. In life, your battlefield is not made of soldiers but of choices. You fight against confusion, manipulation, and impulse. Every advertisement, every opinion, every provocation aims to stir your emotions, to make you act before you think. To detach emotion from judgment is to reclaim your sovereignty. It is to say, I will choose my reaction. I will not be chosen by it. You can train this discipline daily. When insulted, do not respond immediately. When tempted, do not indulge instantly. When afraid, do not retreat impulsively. Delay becomes a form of wisdom. In those moments of restraint, your emotions reveal their true nature. They lose power the moment they are seen clearly. The ability to pause before deciding is the seed of mastery. To think clearly, you must also recognize that others will use emotion as a weapon against you. They will appeal to your pride, your guilt, your pity, or your anger, hoping to steer your choices. The one who controls your emotions controls your judgment. Therefore, never allow anyone to dictate how you should feel about a situation. When people praise you excessively, suspect their motives. When they provoke you deliberately, question their purpose. Emotion is the easiest string to pull, and the world is full of puppeteers. When you learn to detach emotion from judgment, you begin to see the hidden structures of life. Patterns others miss because they are blinded by feeling. You notice the timing of events, the behavior of people, the rise and fall of motives. You act not from impulse but from insight. This is the essence of power. Not domination over others, but dominion over the self. Those who make great decisions, those who shape their fates with precision, all share one thing: a mind unclouded by noise. They do not seek comfort in illusion or flattery. They face truth, however harsh, because only truth gives them control. Clarity is freedom. The freedom to see beyond deception, beyond the thrill of emotion, beyond the vanity of being right. The first victory is internal. Before you can master strategy, wealth, or influence, you must master your own reactions. Each time you choose observation over impulse, each time you act from reason rather than emotion, you sharpen your vision. Gradually, the fog of passion thins and the path ahead becomes visible. Not easy, but clear. Perception is the unseen currency of power. It governs influence more than truth. And those who fail to grasp this principle are forever controlled by those who do. The world is not ruled by facts alone. It is ruled by how those facts are seen, shaped, and believed. To master perception is to understand that every interaction, every gesture, every silence crafts an image that either strengthens or weakens your position. It is not deception, it is strategy. The wise know that truth has many faces, and it is perception that determines which face the world remembers. From the moment you enter a room, people begin to build a story about you. They weigh your tone, your posture, your timing. You may not speak a word, yet 1,000 conclusions are being drawn in the minds around you. Most people are slaves to how others perceive them because they are unaware of it. They reveal their inner thoughts too quickly, seek approval too easily, and defend themselves too emotionally. To master perception is to reverse this flow. It is to observe before being observed, to shape what others think of you without exposing what you think of them. The clear thinker understands that perception is not merely an external game. It begins within. The way you perceive others determines the way you act toward them. See people through the lens of sentiment, and you will misjudge their motives. See them through the lens of reality, and you will understand what truly drives them. To master perception, you must first clean the lens of your own mind. Most people project their insecurities and desires onto others, mistaking reflection for reality. They assume kindness means loyalty, confidence means competence, or silence means weakness. The skilled observer knows better. He looks beyond behavior and searches for pattern, consistency, and outcome. When you master perception, you no longer react to appearances. You create them. The difference between appearing strong and being strong is not always clear to the world, and it does not need to be. Appearances often decide the battle before the conflict begins. The one who looks certain, composed, and unbothered commands trust and fear alike. People will follow conviction even when it is an illusion, and they will abandon truth when it looks uncertain. Therefore, always manage how you are seen, for perception builds the bridge between thought and power. A calm demeanor is a weapon, an unreadable expression, a fortress. The person who reveals nothing cannot be easily controlled. If you appear easily provoked, you invite manipulation. If you appear desperate for validation, you invite exploitation. To master perception, you must learn restraint. Speak less than you know. Reveal less than you feel. Let your silence weigh heavier than another's noise. When people cannot predict you, they cannot prepare for you. When they cannot read your emotions, they begin to respect your composure. The wise also know that perception is fluid. It must adapt to each environment. What inspires confidence in one circle might inspire fear in another. What seems bold to one group might appear reckless to another. Understanding the psychology of your audience allows you to tailor the image you project. This is not falsehood. It is the art of precision. A leader does not speak the same way to an army as he does to a council. A strategist does not reveal the same face to a rival as he does to an ally. Those who fail to read context act blindly, and blindness invites ruin. You must also understand that perception is a mirror of timing. Say the right thing at the wrong moment, and it turns against you. Act too soon, and it looks desperate. Act too late, and it looks weak. The mastery of perception is not just what you show, but when you show it. The world remembers impressions more than events. If your fall appears graceful, it will be remembered as resilience. If your rise appears effortless, it will be remembered as destiny. What matters most is not the truth of your journey, but the strength of the image it leaves behind. Perception also shapes how you interpret your own path. When challenges come, the weak see obstacles. The wise see opportunities to define themselves. Every setback is a stage on which perception can be reshaped. People rarely remember your mistakes if you rise with composure. They remember your reaction. A calm recovery earns more admiration than a flawless record. The ability to manage perception in crisis separates those who merely survive from those who command lasting influence. And mastering perception does not mean living as an actor without substance. It means aligning your inner purpose with the outer image that serves it best. The mask, when chosen deliberately, does not hide the truth. It protects it. You decide which parts of yourself the world deserves to see. By doing so, you control the narrative before others can write it for you. The unguarded mind is always rewritten by the opinions of others. The disciplined mind writes its own story and makes others believe it. Those who fail to master perception often fall to those who do. The honest are often crushed, not because their cause is weak, because they assume truth will speak for itself. It never does. Truth whispers, perception shouts. The wise and sure both speak the same language. If you appear uncertain, your truth will be dismissed. If you appear composed, even your mistakes will be forgiven. To think clearly and decide wisely. You must always remember that clarity is not enough. You must make clarity visible. In the pursuit of influence, perception is not decoration. It is defense. It shields you from judgment, misunderstanding, and manipulation. The world will always interpret your silence, your words, and your choices. So you must guide that interpretation with precision. Every movement, every tone, every pause must serve a purpose. The greatest strength lies not only in being right, but in being seen as right by those who hold power over outcomes. The clear thinker does not measure people by what they say or claim to feel, but by the results their actions create. Intentions are the language of comfort. Consequences are the language of truth. The world often praises good motives and condemns harsh results, yet it is the result that defines reality, not the intention that preceded it. To anticipate consequences is to see beyond sentiment, to trace the invisible thread that connects every action to its inevitable outcome. This is the foundation of wisdom, and for only those who think in consequences can navigate a world where good intentions often lead to destruction and cold precision often leads to survival. Most people stop their thinking at the first layer, what someone means to do. They judge a friend by promises, a leader by speeches, a partner by feelings. They do not look deeper to ask what the pattern of behavior has already revealed. They see the present, not the future contained within it. To think clearly, you must reverse this habit. Never trust words without examining their likely effect. Never trust emotion without tracing where it leads. The one who anticipates consequences sees the second, third, and fourth step while others are still admiring the first. Every decision, no matter how small, plants a seed. The wise do not only look at how the seed appears, but at the kind of tree it will grow into. A kind act may create dependency. A harsh truth may create loyalty. A small compromise may open a gate to corruption. The mind trained to see only intentions will miss these transformations and will live surprised by every betrayal and failure. The mind trained to see consequences moves calmly through the chaos, knowing every reaction before it arrives. In leadership, this principle separates the visionary from the naive. The naive leader rewards loyalty without testing its endurance, forgives without assessing future risk, and believes that kindness will produce gratitude. The visionary studies outcomes. He knows that loyalty can turn to ambition, that forgiveness without consequence breeds repetition, and that gratitude fades faster than advantage. The visionary acts not out of what he hopes people will do, but out of what people usually do when opportunity, fear, or gain stands before them. To anticipate consequences is not cynicism. It is realism refined into discipline. The greatest error in judgment comes from confusing morality with effectiveness. People often act according to what feels noble, thinking that a righteous motive will ensure a righteous result. Yet history is filled with disasters born from noble hearts. Wars fought for justice turned into oppression. Promises made in compassion led to ruin. The wise mind does not reject morality, but subordinates it to foresight. It asks not, is this good, but what will this cause? Because in the end, outcomes shape morality. More than morality shapes outcomes, anticipating consequences also requires understanding time. Some actions shine brightly in the moment, but darken with age. Others look cruel today, but save countless troubles tomorrow. The short-sighted thinker chases immediate comfort. The long-sighted thinker endures discomfort now to prevent chaos later. Every decision must be weighed not only by its instant effect, but by its ripple through time. To see clearly is to see the chain, not the link. To cultivate this vision, one must train the mind to slow down. Before acting, pause and project forward. Ask what this decision will look like in a day, in a month, in a year. Watch how the future bends under the weight of your choice. The more you practice this, the more your instinct begins to operate like a strategist's, constantly simulating outcomes. The future will never be certain, but anticipation reduces surprise, and surprise is the enemy of power. The same principle applies to how you judge others. People reveal their nature through the pattern of their consequences. If someone consistently brings confusion wherever they go, do not be fooled by their words of peace. If someone consistently creates order and strength, their occasional misstep is irrelevant. They judge by the wake they leave behind, not by the banner they carry. Intentions are invisible, easily falsified, and often unknown even to those who hold them. Consequences are visible, measurable, undeniable. The wise trust evidence over emotion. There is also a deeper layer to anticipating consequences. The recognition that your own motives may deceive you. Every human being carries within them the desire to appear right, noble, and justified. But the mind that seeks only self-approval blinds itself to outcomes. To think clearly, you must stand outside yourself and evaluate your actions as though they belong to another. Ask not what you intended to achieve, but what you actually produced. This cold honesty protects you from delusion. It turns experience into foresight, failure into intelligence. In the realm of decision-making, emotion pushes you toward immediate satisfaction. Foresight pushes you toward lasting stability. The one who cannot wait, who seeks to prove themselves instantly, acts from impulse and loses sight of the chain of events their actions unleash. They destroy alliances to win arguments, spend resources to gain appearances, and sacrifice the future for the thrill of being right in the present. The disciplined thinker, however, understands that control over the future is earned by restraint in the present. Anticipating consequences also means preparing for unintended ones. Every move creates shadows, effects that no one predicts. The wise account for them by building flexibility into their plans. They understand that no decision is perfect, only adaptable. When things go wrong, they adjust without panic, because they saw the possibility long before it arrived. This foresight transforms uncertainty into control. Ultimately, those who anticipate consequences move through the world as chess players rather than gamblers, and they accept that life is not shaped by chance or emotion, but by cause and effect. Every choice becomes a calculated step, every reaction a deliberate move. The weak act first and think later. The strong think first and act only when the future is already half one in their mind. Clarity of thought is not a gift. It is a discipline forged through control, perception, and foresight. To think clearly and make better decisions, one must first detach emotion from judgment, observe without drowning in feeling, act without being consumed by impulse. Then, master perception, see the world not as it wishes to appear, but as it truly is, while shaping how the world sees you. Finally, anticipate consequences, not intentions. Judge not by promises or words, but by the chain of outcomes that actions inevitably create. The mind that governs itself governs everything. When emotion no longer clouds your reason, when perception bends to your will, and when your vision stretches beyond the present, your decisions become instruments of precision. You stop reacting to life and begin directing it. Those who master themselves need no fortune, no approval, no luck. They command reality through understanding. The world belongs to the calm, the observant, and the far-sighted. Those who think clearly do not seek to be comfortable. They seek to be correct. And in that pursuit, they rise above the confusion of the many, standing alone, unshaken, and utterly in control.